The British government's recent actions have laid bare its twisted priorities, revealing a blatant disregard for ordinary citizens. After weeks of protests in Epping, authorities have quietly relocated migrants from the Bell Hotel to the luxurious Britannia International Hotel in Canary Wharf. This move, done under the radar, speaks volumes about how little the government values hard-working taxpayers. While families struggle with soaring living costs, the state is splurging on 4-star accommodations for individuals who entered the country illegally. The hypocrisy is staggering. There's always money for migrants but never for the British people. Reports confirm that the government has booked all 450 rooms at the Britannia International Hotel, paying a staggering £469 per night per room. This isn't just any hotel, it's a high-end waterfront property in one of London's most expensive districts. For the average British worker, staying in such a place is a distant dream, reserved for rare occasions. Yet, for those who flout immigration laws, it's handed to them freely, funded by the very taxpayers they undermine. The injustice is impossible to ignore, especially when veterans and struggling families are left without support. Adding insult to injury, the hotel's staff have allegedly been fired to make way for this migrant housing scheme. Ordinary British workers are losing their jobs so the government can prioritize illegal arrivals over its own citizens. This isn't just incompetence, it's betrayal. The message is clear: break the rules, destroy your documents, and you'll be rewarded with luxury. Meanwhile, British citizens are told to tighten their belts and accept declining living standards. The double standards are infuriating, and the silence from Labour is deafening. Keir Starmer and his party refuse to address this outrage, likely fearing accusations of racism or populism. But this isn't about bigotry, it's about fairness. The people of Epping protested for weeks, demanding action, only to be ignored. Instead of tackling illegal immigration, the government simply moved the problem to London, wasting even more taxpayer money. This isn't leadership, it's cowardice. The British public is fed up with being treated like second-class citizens in their own country while illegal migrants are given preferential treatment. The situation at the Lindsey oil refinery further exposes the government's failures. Reform UK's Nigel Farage has slammed Labour for its negligence, accusing ministers of abandoning the facility due to their obsession with net zero ideology. The refinery, a critical piece of national infrastructure, supports thousands of jobs, yet the government has done little to save it. Instead, they've allowed it to collapse, leaving workers in the lurch. Farage's statement highlights the absurdity of prioritizing ideology over livelihoods, a trend that's becoming all too common. The refinery's closure will devastate the local economy, costing nearly 1,000 direct jobs and countless indirect roles. Workers were informed that no credible buyers had come forward, sealing the facility's fate. Energy Minister Michael Shanks expressed disappointment but offered little beyond sympathy. His hollow words won't pay bills or put food on tables. The government's inaction is a slap in the face to workers who've dedicated their lives to this industry. Instead of fighting for their survival, ministers are content to let them fall victim to the green agenda. Reform UK has proposed alternative solutions, including joint ventures combining public ownership with private expertise. Yet, the government has ignored these ideas, refusing even to share financial data that could aid in saving the refinery. This lack of transparency suggests they never intended to rescue the facility. If Reform were in power, they argue, the refinery could be revived and made profitable. But under Labour, ideological purity trumps practical solutions, no matter the human cost. Trade unions have joined the outcry, with Sharon Graham demanding immediate government intervention. She rightly points out that Lindsey is critical infrastructure, essential for the UK's fuel supply and regional economy. The government's decision to halt crude oil purchases has accelerated the refinery's demise, leaving workers helpless. Graham's warning is dire: if ministers don't act, they'll be seen as abandoning not just Lindsey's workforce but all industrial communities. The message is clear: this government cares more about virtue signaling than real people. The refinery's workers now face an uncertain future, with redundancies already underway. FTI Consulting, overseeing the wind down, has warned of further job losses as operations cease. The government's response: a vague promise of retraining programs for the clean energy sector. While retraining is welcome, it's a poor consolation for those losing stable, well-paid jobs. Many workers are middle-aged, with skills specific to oil refining. Transitioning won't be easy. The government's solution feels like an afterthought, a way to deflect blame rather than address the crisis. Meanwhile, the official receiver continues to seek buyers for individual assets, but this piecemeal approach won't save the refinery as a functioning entity. Some operations at Immingham Port may continue, but the damage is done. The refinery's closure isn't just a local issue, it's a national failure. The UK's energy security is weakened, and thousands of families are left in limbo. The government's inaction sets a dangerous precedent, signaling that no industry is safe from ideological interference. The parallels between the migrant hotel scandal and the Lindsey refinery crisis are striking. In both cases, the government prioritizes its agenda over the people's needs. Billions are spent housing illegal migrants in luxury, while British workers are left to fend for themselves. The hypocrisy is galling. If this country is to regain its sense of fairness, it must start putting its citizens first. That means securing borders, saving key industries, and listening to the public. Right now, none of that is happening. The British people deserve better. They deserve a government that fights for their interests, not one that caves to every woke demand. The protests in Epping and the anger over Lindsey's closure are just the beginning. If the political class continues to ignore the public, the backlash will grow. The choice is simple: start prioritizing British workers and taxpayers, or face the consequences. The clock is ticking, and patience is running out. The migrant hotel debacle and the refinery crisis are symptoms of a deeper malaise. This government, like its predecessors, is out of touch with ordinary people. It's time for a radical shift, one that puts the nation's needs above globalist fantasies. Until then, the decline will continue, and the public's fury will only intensify. The question isn't whether change will come, but how much more damage will be done before it does. The British people are watching, and they won't forget. In the face of these failures, Reform UK offers a stark alternative. Nigel Farage and his team are vocal where others are silent, challenging the status quo with common-sense solutions. Their stance on Lindsey and immigration resonates with millions who feel abandoned. Whether the establishment likes it or not, Reform's influence is growing. The more Labour and the Tories ignore the public, the stronger Reform becomes. The political landscape is shifting, and the old guard should take notice. The Lindsey workers' plight is a microcosm of Britain's industrial decline. Once thriving sectors are being sacrificed at the altar of net zero, with no thought for the consequences. The government's green agenda is costing jobs, raising energy prices, and weakening the economy. Yet ministers press on, oblivious to the damage. It's ideological madness, and the public is starting to rebel. The refinery's closure should be a wake-up call, but will anyone in power listen? The same arrogance is evident in the migrant hotel scandal. While Britons struggle, the government showers resources on those who shouldn't even be here. The Bell Hotel protests were a cry for help, but the response was to move the problem elsewhere. This isn't governance, it's cowardice. The public sees through the spin and demands accountability. If the political class won't act, they'll be replaced by those who will. The anger is real, and it's not going away. The media's role in these crises can't be ignored. Too often, legitimate concerns are dismissed as xenophobia or climate denial. This silencing tactic only fuels resentment. The public knows the difference between bigotry and valid criticism. When media elites parrot government talking points, they lose credibility. The truth is, most Britons want fair immigration policies and a balanced approach to energy. It's not radical, it's common sense. The government's training programs for displaced refinery workers are a band-aid solution. Retraining takes time, and new jobs may not match old wages. For many, this transition will be painful. The state's responsibility doesn't end with a few courses, it must ensure viable futures for those it's uprooted. Right now, that's not happening. The human cost of these policies is immense, and ministers must be held accountable. The Lindsey refinery's potential profitability under new management is being ignored. Reform UK's proposals could save jobs and maintain energy security, but they're being sidelined. Why? Because they don't fit the net zero narrative. This ideological rigidity is harming the country. Practical solutions exist, but they require pragmatism, not dogma. The government's refusal to explore alternatives is a dereliction of duty. The parallels with the migrant crisis are undeniable. In both cases, ideology trumps reality. The result: a broken immigration system and a dying industrial base. The public is tired of being told to accept decline. They want solutions, not excuses. The longer the government delays, the worse the problems become. The time for action is now, before it's too late. The Britannia International Hotel saga is a symbol of everything wrong with Britain. Luxury for illegal migrants, austerity for citizens. It's a disgrace, and the public knows it. The government can spin all it wants, but the truth is obvious. This isn't about compassion, it's about priorities. And right now, the British people aren't one of them. The Lindsey refinery's fate should alarm every worker in the UK. If a major facility can be discarded so easily, no job is safe. The government's green agenda is a jobs killer, and workers are right to fear it. The promise of green jobs is cold comfort for those losing careers they've built over decades. The human toll of these policies is being ignored, and that's unforgivable. The migrant hotel scandal exposes the hypocrisy of the elite. They lecture ordinary people about sacrifice while lavishing resources on illegal arrivals. It's a slap in the face to every taxpayer. The public's patience is wearing thin, and the political fallout could be seismic. When trust in government erodes this badly, the consequences are unpredictable. Reform. UK's rise is a direct response to this failure. Nigel Farage's party speaks for those abandoned by the mainstream. Their message is simple: put Britain first. It's a rallying cry that's gaining traction. As Labour and the Tories drift further from the public, reform's appeal grows. The political establishment should take note: ignoring the people has consequences. The Lindsey refinery crisis is a test of this government's values. Will they save jobs and energy security, or cling to net zero dogma? The answer will define their legacy. Right now, they're failing. Workers and communities are paying the price for their ideology. It's a betrayal, plain and simple. The Britannia Hotel debacle is equally telling. While London's elite dine in Canary Wharf's high-end restaurants, migrants enjoy luxury stays on the taxpayer's dime. The contrast with struggling British families couldn't be starker. This isn't just unfair, it's unsustainable. The public's anger is justified, and it's only a matter of time before it boils over. The government's handling of these crises reveals a profound disconnect. They're governing for themselves, not the people. The result is chaos, unchecked immigration, dying industries, and a furious public. The status quo can't hold. Change is coming, whether the elite like it or not. The question is, will it be orderly, or will it be forced? The British people are waking up to the reality of the broken system. They see the waste, the hypocrisy, the betrayal. And they're not staying quiet. From Epping to Lindsey, the backlash is building. The political class would be wise to listen before it's too late. The stakes couldn't be higher, the future of the country hangs in the balance. In the end, these scandals are about more than hotels or refineries. They're about who this country is for. Is it for the British people, or is it for unaccountable elites and illegal migrants? The answer will define the next decade. The public is watching, and they won't be fooled. The reckoning is coming.